All right. Gonna go for a little walk in the neighborhood here. Is it working? Is it working? Not sure if it's working. Let's see if it's working. Howdy, Lynn. Talking to the internet over here. I'm talking to the internet over here. Internet. I'll tell you in a bit. We're going for a walk. Looks like Gomez Adams is here. How's it going, Gomez? Is this working? I'm trying to see if I can live stream through the cell service instead of having to do through Wi-Fi or things like that. So if it doesn't work, please let me know. It seems like it's working. I see Gomez. I see Carol Nunez. Hello. Hello, my friends. So good to see you. And it seems like everything's connecting. It tried to tell me that it couldn't connect a moment ago, but seems to be connecting now. Seems to be connecting very well. Thank you so much. I wanted to kind of come out here for a little bit of a walk, see what's happening. I got a new device, a new phone with new service and stuff like that. So I wanted to come and see, and it's wheat season. So I figured I'd come out here and share a little bit of wheat season with you guys in the middle of Kansas. This is what we got right here. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? Actually, it's pretty small right now because we didn't have a lot of moisture in the season that we needed moisture. So, isn't that kind of cool? Kind of neat. You don't get to see that every day. I happen to live right next to a wheat field. Thank you, Elsewhere. Good to see you. I'm glad you can see and hear me. You might recall this October I did some walking out in this field when it wasn't planted, when it was just raw. And now I'm just going to kind of skirt the perimeter a little bit and see how far away I can get. That's true. Most modern wheat is built to be a lot shorter. Although I'm seeing a lot of people, when they're harvesting right now, instead of actually baling it like they would with wheat, all that kind of stuff, I'm seeing a lot of people use it more for like hay and silage to feed animals. And I saw some people kind of getting close to it. I don't want to get in their stuff. Whoop! There we go. I saw some people also tear it up completely and switch over to a different crop when it was clear it wasn't going to work for them. So very interesting. This is a weird little spot. I don't know if you can see, but I'm out right on the edge of this field with, on the other side of these trees is some houses in my neighborhood. Very fortunate to have a neighborhood just beside a wheat field. I certainly enjoy it. And so I'm just going to kind of walk the tree line a little bit and see how well this new device handles live streaming. A little chit-chatting, little yip-yapping, as our good friend Brad likes to say when we show up for kind coffee talk in the morning. Now see, here's some footprints that look like deer. I don't know if you can see that. Where it's kind of like a hoof print. Hoof. I don't know if you say it hoof or hoof, but that is very clearly not a dog or a human. It is not a raccoon. Pretty heavy. See, that's probably a dog right there. Or something like that. Big, wide paw. So, yeah, indeed, I try to be a good neighbor as best I can, although I am one of the hermitiest hermits there may ever be. You guys might actually know me better than my next door neighbors just because, you know, I dwell in the basement and don't really do much. This is a little difficult to get through. But luckily, the wheat is so short that I'm not really disturbing anything by walking along this little path. This is very interesting. I hadn't intended for this to be this open, so... Oh. Okay, I'm going to turn around. That was 100% a coyote. always something fun here. I have some plans for regular live streams, and I've been fleshing them out over the past few weeks, maybe trying to do live at the Gargoyle Room, and I don't know that I can actually make that 100% replicatable kind of thing. So, right? Instead, I'm going to keep fleshing it out and see what other options are available now that I can just go live from anywheres, including the middle of a wheat field in Kansas. Then, goodness, I should be able to go live about everywhere. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. As it is, I'm so glad that I got to take you guys along on this kind of exciting adventure. I don't know if you guys were able to hear that, but when I kind of stopped, something was in the wheat, and I saw it run away from me, because you can kind of see the wheat part like water a little bit, and you see the path it went. And it might have just been a local dog or something like that. But it is a little bit wild out here. Not quite the sticks, just a little bit wild. I'm gonna be on the safe side and say, if it's a local dog, fine, I'm not gonna get. But if it was a wild dog, coyote, coy dog, something like that, I'll just not mess about. Whew. See, you know what you're talking about, Gomez. And we're all safe, all fine. Part of the adventure. In fact, it makes the adventure, if you will. So, yeah. Very interesting. It kind of turned and ran. I only saw a pair of ears. Oh no, a locust in your house? Does that mean it's singing its song? The song of its people? It's not my favorite song, but I know that song. I got the sun right behind me. So maybe I'll do some of this walking backwards. Does that work? No, I gotta walk forward. But we'll stay in the shade, and we'll kick it over. Railroad Preserver 2000. RP2K in the house, or should I say, walking out by the wheat field over here. Cousin Seabass Smith joining us on a little walk. I was telling the guys earlier, and ladies, telling everybody earlier that, whoop, there's a little life living there. Reconnecting? Hey, wait, there we are. What? Did it work? Aha! Yes. Indeed. Okay, so I'm on a new phone that should let me do live, but then it just went dippity-boo, and that was no fun. Anyway, now it seems to be working? I don't know. Yeah, this is the fun part of living at the edge of a smallish town. Is we're close enough to get to civilization, but we're far enough out here that we don't really have to worry too much. You know, I can get some good cell signal. I get good internet, which is very important. When we're looking at what place to purchase, we looked at a few different places a little farther out in the country. And the biggest problem was that we would have to skimp on internet service. And that was not an option. Would not have made for good interneting. Hi, puppy doggers. Hi. 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 Yeah, just some friendly folk out here on a little walk, a little test walk, if you will. Testing to see if I could talk to the internet while walking. Heck, maybe I'd chew some gum. Woo! So yeah, otherwise, just having a good time. I'm still kind of close to the wheat field. I don't know if you guys saw this. Hey, look at that, Gomez! You touched the like button. That's awesome. We're talking about full wheat. It's wheat season. It's about to be harvested. But it didn't grow as much as they like, is what I'm hearing from the farming folk. So this is a little weird test. Maybe, we're at 10 minutes, something like that. Not intended to be a show or anything like that. This dog is huge. Beautiful dog. Wow. Anyway, just intending to test kind of the distance of my cell service. Turns out, ran into a coyote already, turned the wrong direction, went right out to the wild, and there was coyote in that wheat field. Maybe, maybe not. It could have been, I don't know, prairie dragon, something like that. Do they have those things? I'm going to say they have those things. But it ran away from me. It sensed crazy catfish talking up a storm and ran hither and yon, fast as it could be. So we'll see. I probably will not then do guitar tonight, as I would normally like to do. But I think what I'm going to do is a little bit of guitar, a little bit of talking. Some nights no guitar, some nights no talking. And we'll see how that goes for a little while. Of course, the other thing I'm going to over here is a little less rural as I get ready to flick onto a bit of Interstate 135. I don't know if any of you guys have traveled interstates through the heart of the country, but we are nestled right very close to Interstate 135, which is kind of a little bend off of Interstate 35. I don't mean to bore you guys, but I'm going to talk about an interstate for a moment. Interstate 35 kind of comes up from the south all the way up the middle, but when it gets to Kansas, it kind of turns a little bit and keeps going. Hello, Sherry. So going north, where Interstate 35 bends off, Interstate 135 keeps going north, so you could basically get all the way to Minnesota, or Michigan, or wherever north might take you. And here we sit right on the corner of Interstate 135 and Interstate 70, which basically goes from the East Coast all the way over to wherever it doesn't go anymore. I think it gets weird at the mountains, but my understanding is you could basically take it from Washington, D.C. to Denver, and after that, je ne sais quoi. Je ne sais la quoi. So here we are, walking. There's a little bit of a walk path behind the houses. I guess you could call it an alley. But there's a little bit of a walk path and a tree line, and then wheat field, which I really enjoy being out by. And I don't think that the sounds of the cars really disturb the wheat very much. As long as it gets enough water, gets hot sun at the right time, not too early, I think we're pretty good. But this season, there's a way to get back over here and show you a little bit of the wheat. Can I get through? I'm going to try to get through, and we'll see if it lets me. Because it's very important that I don't disturb the wheat. But that's Kansas, a sea of wheat. So fun getting to be a part of it and getting to share it with you guys. A little earlier I ran into a coyote going the other direction, and so I ran away fast as I could, which wasn't very fast, while still not disturbing the wheat. Although I'm sure the coyote did a great job of not disturbing the wheat. So yes, you could probably see and hear and feel and taste and smell the interstate right next to where we are at. See if I can do one of these numbers, do a little backwards walking. Y'all walk backwards very well? I am not a good backwards walker, but it's good to have a rear view camera so I can make sure that I'm not like running over any puddles or like tripping on taxidermy. So, here we are at the end of this run. I have to say that I've never walked this far, having lived here, 6, 7, 8 years? Very fun. And more, but that's a different story entirely. Here we are at the interstate, still on the safe side, not getting into any trouble. And there we went from, we get up there a little bit? Kind of get up there. Went from Wheatfield to interstate. That big old mother trucker, as our good friend Brad likes to say. There's another one. Yes, indeed. That's where I walked to. I don't know if you caught my vlog this morning, but I did draw attention to today being the last day of spring. And oh goodness, has it been a glorious spring day. It was really feeling like summer. I had to double check my calendar to say, hey, are we sure it's still spring over here? 100-degree days? Really? But cold front blew in. We got a whole bunch of moisture, which we needed. And it also brought with us very cool temperatures. We are in the 80s today, which might sound hot if it were midwinter. But today I'm going to take it. Very exciting. It's weird because the last time I did a stream, I had a second device that I could kind of read the comments on. And now, oh, there we go. Now I'm having to kind of catch them as they go. Although I can kind of, oh, there we go. Yeah, all right. Mark Fun Jones mentions he walked backwards very well, or I walked backwards very well. I imagine Mark Fun Jones could walk backwards on his hands very well, let alone anything else. We're talking a regular circus acrobat in Mark Fun Jones. He should start a sideshow carnival routine where he does the whole acrobat and the juggling and a little bit of balancing a chair on his nose and then some puppets at the same time with Captain Jack Spackle. Here we are, 1825. Reading the comment, sorry. Well, there wasn't a sweet spot in nature until this week when it really just, a cold front rolled through our area. It was perfect. The last day of spring ended up being one of the most glorious days of spring. And I'm so glad that I got to really enjoy it this morning out on the stoop. Play a little guitar, sang a little song, had just a good old time, and it was a fun time. So here we are, 19 minutes on the Catfish Jones live stream, kind of walking in this little wild spot behind the houses, and another block or two as the crow flies to get over here. But here we are, Wheatfield on one side of me, and then the residential area where I reside on the other. Whoa, about dropped you. The new phones, if you haven't noticed, slick as can be. Slick as can be. It's like they designed them to slip out of your hand onto the ground, shatter into pieces, forcing you to purchase another one. Peak capitalism. Great move. Maybe. Anyway, it is nice to be able to enjoy a little bit of nature without having to be tethered to a Wi-Fi signal, getting a little bit of, I don't know, regular cell signal working through here, letting me enjoy the peace of the interstate sounds wafting over the wheat field. It's actually a little louder over here than it is down in my part of it. But of course, once you get on the other side of the houses, there's, every house provides a little bit of sound barrier for the next one. And this tree line makes a big difference for sure. Very interesting. Very interesting. This has been a great walk. I appreciate every one of you popping in. Old Stoner, when did you sneak up behind me? What? Oh, well, thank you so much for the compliment on the vlog this morning. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a fun little number. That funny way of feeling. that has a little piece of magic for me, and I like to keep playing it. But it's also important for me to note that all of the Catfish Jones stuff is like, it's like half the show. You guys are missing out on most of the Mississippi Fuzz stuff. And when we get to see him, it is such an honor to get to share that full scenario of Fish and Fuzz, the two of us jamming and singing, lots of singing, two singings together over the top of one another, counter harmonies, polyrhythms, lots of fun craziness. But I think the CFJ stuff, the Catfish solo stuff, even though it's only 50% power, is still pretty potent. It is still pretty good. Hi, buddies. Hi, guys. Hi. Oh, you guys can see the doggies? Okay, I'm gonna leave them be because I don't want to rile anybody up. But some cute guys for sure, or girls. I don't know. I didn't check the goods. We got some rain clouds trying to come through, but I think they're gonna blow over the top of us. Otherwise, very picturesque kind of evening. Like I said, very cool temperatures. Very temperate indeed. And yeah, so this has been a little bit of a test walk. Thank you for joining me, every one of you. I appreciate it. It's one of those things where the new device takes a lot of breaking in. It works perfectly, I'm sure. I, as the user, however, do not know how to work it perfectly. Fortunately, my wife did get the same phone, so we're learning things together. Oh, did you see this one? Oh, did you know you could do that? Oh, what if you just, oh, did you try? And so as we each discover something, it's also a part of the adventure and that kind of thing. But here I am walking up onto my neighborhood area, and that's probably where I'm going to leave it. Right here, 23 minutes into the stream, and a fun little stream it's been. Thank you so much for joining, every one of you. I'm glad I got to share a walk with you. Well, thank you, Mark. I know, honestly, if you didn't know that it was only 50% power, you wouldn't, I guess, question the quality. But, yeah. Thank you for joining me, all of you. I look forward to seeing you perhaps later this evening when maybe one of our very close friends paints a pretty picture for all of us to see. In the meantime, we will see you guys later. Be well to one another, each other, yourselves. Treat yourself very well. You're your best friend if you didn't know that. And otherwise, I come in number 2 and everybody else after that. So until I see you guys again, have a wonderful time. We'll see you. Bye.